everyone's looking for the young guy. They're looking for McVay. I think take a shot out. Todd Bowles, get him a second shot at head coach and see if he can do it.
I don't think they will. If they don't have Anthony Davis, I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
It's crazy. And our kids will know how great Tom Brady is because he's going to be playing.
Yes, it is 15.0%.
That's what the Yankees brought Garrett Cole to do.
He was a 6th-round pick. This is a fairy tale story that's being written in front of our eyes.
People like to call them their JV team, and they just stole one of their better players.
They didn't struggle against the Padres. The Padres didn't really put up a fight in most of the games.
Jerry Jones, hope you're listening.
Hi, I'm Landon Bowe, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. For anyone just listening, yes, we did post the Cowboys video yesterday, but we also recorded that ahead of time. That's how we do some of our things for a little peek behind the curtain. I'm sure y'all have figured it out. But the man that wanted to talk Cowboys, and I was negative about it, Austin.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be yesterday, quote unquote, when this actually video gets posted. However, I do find it really funny that we recently posted a Cowboys video discussing whether or not they're going to add anything to this wide receiver room. I asked you about Amari Cooper. I asked you about Keenan Allen. We kind of talked about through the Cowboys process and whether or not they were going to make any moves or if they were good with this roster. You thought that they were okay with their wide receiver core with Mingo. Is it Tolbert or Tolbert?
Tolbert. I wouldn't say okay. Like, it's terrible wide receiver room. But
No, but are they okay with it? If you don't make any moves, then you're okay with it. That's all I'm saying. You thought that they were okay with it.
Cowboys were okay with it. Yeah.
Obviously, that was not the case because they make a trade. So I do think, one, does this increase any of your excitement for next season? And two, do you think they have any other moves this offseason that they make in not just for wide receiver, but for any other positions?
Yeah, so it's actually really funny. When did the trade happen? Because I have my phone set off. I have some apps turned off till like 9 a.m. And the only thing is I have Substack open, and that's, of course, I read Bob's Sturmstack, and he posted Sturmstack rewind of George Pickens. And I just saw that this morning. I'm like, that's weird. But whatever, I had other stuff to do this morning. And then I think that was around like 7 or 8 a.m. And I don't think it was till like 11 a.m. that I realized the Cowboys had traded for George Pickens. It was like people were talking about, the Cowboys might trade for George Pickens. I'm like, there's no way. Or like George Pickens might get traded. I just didn't expect it. I wouldn't say I'm excited. Well, I'm like...
Does this make you more excited?
I think they're going to be bad. I don't think it's going to work out. I feel like a third is pretty high for George Pickens because I think his value has gone down. I just don't think he's not what he was, but we do have a friend. That's the only one that I really know that talks about George Pickens that really loves him and like thinks he could be a number one wide receiver. I don't think he's bad. It's just I do think there are off the field concerns and kind of that roster room. But I do think he's an upgrade. But I think any
an upgrade's that's an understatement because it was probably going to be the worst wide receiver core, especially if CD got hurt in the NFL. But I think that Pickens can easily be a wide receiver too, in my opinion.
Absolutely. It's just,
and I'm anxious about
too.
But you wouldn't say this makes you more excited for next season at all?
I'm a little bit excited about the offense because I know there's like stats coming out about like Pickens was close to Justin Jefferson. Are you gonna throw deep to him? I do. I'm not really familiar with George Pickens. I know he's a physical wide receiver, but so I would say I'm a little bit excited for the offense, but I'm not expecting it to be amazing. It's just kind of like
better,
yes. But if you sign Keenan Allen, I'm like, you have a better wide receiver too. Or you could sign almost any wide receiver and be like, oh, you upgraded your room. I am surprised they gave up a 3rd-round pick, though. Actually, I shouldn't be surprised. They gave a 4th for Mingo. They do not have a good, I would say, view of picks for players. Because he only has 1 year left on his contract. So this looks to just be a rental for Pickens and the Cowboys.
That's what I think makes it bad for a 3rd round, is you don't have any security. I think if you had like 3 years, I don't think a 3rd round's all that bad.
Absolutely. Like, if you went, instead of trading a 4th for Jonathan Mingo last year, and you trade a 4th for Pickens, then I'm like, okay, maybe that's not bad.
Or even a 3rd for Pickens, because you would still have that 4th, so it wouldn't feel as bad.
Yeah. I don't hate it. It's just like, I have problems with the Cowboys, which we kind of talked about in the recently published video.
Does this change your mind about anything, though?
It does. I'm interested in that offense. Because CD's amazing. I think, okay, if this was Madden, George Pickens as a wide receiver 2 works. But this isn't Madden. So I'm worried about, does he take the wide receiver 2 role?
You mean mentally?
Yeah, mentally. And like, just, will he be okay with it? Kind of, Dak's dealt with some wide receiver divas. But I don't know. I can't, like, he dealt with Dez. But Dez was still the number 1, I would say. It's just, can George Pickens look to be like in the Steelers, hey, he's the number 1 guy, he's our guy. There is no way George Pickens is going to be, there's just no way he can think that. And is he willing to accept that role as a wide receiver 2?
If he does, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say he does.
Yes.
Does that mean that this offense is significantly better than it was last season? Or
Yes.
you think yes?
Not just because of Pickens, but I would say it's significantly better. I am really excited about Tyler Booker, just as a player. Tyler Booker, BB, and Tyler Smith. The tackles are iffy, but you have a solid offense now. I do think the deep threat.
I do like Jaden Blue.
Yeah. The problem is you're going to be I would like Jaden Blue as a complimentary back.
Well, you guys have Javonte, right? Javonte Williams?
Yeah, they have Javonte. People have talked about signing Chubb. I wouldn't hate it. They have Javonte and they have Miles Sanders. It's just a crowded running back room. But yeah.
Do you guys still have
You thinking of Deuce?
Yes.
Yes, they still have Deuce, but Deuce is probably going to get cut.
But right now he's running back 4.
Yeah, and they also signed Phil Maffa. Well, they
I have no
drafted
idea
Phil
who that is.
Maffa. Clemson running back. Big. He's like a bruiser back, I would say, but he's like a 7th-round pick. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I do think Jaden Blue is nice. It's just I don't think he can be a bell cow. He can be.
But this offense is going to be pass first anyway.
I feel like it's going to be run first.
You trade for George Pickens.
Yes.
And you decide to run the ball?
Yes. Because why do you take Tyler Booker? To me, they're really beefing up that offensive line. They're like, we're going to run the ball. And that's what Schottenheimer has done in the past is we run the ball.
I think they may be trying to establish the run, but not be a run-first team, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does make sense. You're good to run. Like
if you run, you can open up the pass.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
Okay. If that's the goal, this feels better. But that's why I'm also like mentally there's not going to be too many targets for Pickens. So how does his attitude? And you also have a
be enough targets for Pickens to feel fine.
Well, yeah, I just don't know. And I don't trust in the Cowboys. Like Mike Tomlin, I would say, had trouble with George Pickens.
Uh-huh.
And Mike Tomlin is by far so much better than Schottenheimer. And I cannot see Schottenheimer.
I mean, Schottenheimer's never been a head coach before, so I think that's kind of a It's kind of
Yeah.
the atomic bomb and coughing baby analogy, where it's kind of like, well, it's kind of guaranteed for him to be better because he's been a head coach for so long. But I get your point. And I do think that Schottenheimer is going to have something to prove to Cowboys fans this season. Do you think that the Cowboys make any other major moves this offseason? Major meaning not like close to minimum value signing on any part of the ball. Defense, offense, any other spot. Do you think they make any other signings?
They might do minimums. Someone was talking about Gilmore coming back to the Cowboys, but that would probably just be a vet minimum. Maybe vet minimum of Chubb. They're going to be dumpster diving probably in the free agency pile now.
How does their cap situation look?
Their cap situation looks good, I would say. They'll probably tell you something different, but they have enough money to pay Parsons. But they are paying Dak a ton of money. It says right now, over the cap, says the Cowboys have a total of $34 million in cap space for 2025.
Okay.
So
how are you feeling? Does this make you feel better in general?
a little bit. I'm interested to see what happens, but I'm not expecting the offense to be good. I think someone said the Cowboys are.
Is that just natural cynicism, or is that more because of the way it's built?
I think I don't trust Brian Schottenheimer. I don't trust his play calling. If this was McCarthy, though, I would have better faith in it. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of McCarthy play calling, I still think he was a good play caller. It's just he had a bad roster last year.
Okay. I think that's fair. I am interested to see what this does. And you don't think they make any big moves the rest of the offseason, right?
Yeah, no. And I don't know if this is big.
It is. It is. I'd say it is.
Okay.
People are talking about it a lot. In the trade for a wide receiver, too, that's a major part of your offense. So
that's true. They needed to do it, but it was like, do they do it?
Yeah, and that's the conversation we had previously, and you did not think they would, and they did. I don't know if they're going to make another big move. They do need to add something in the secondary. It's just whether or not they're going to.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. They're like, we have offense. We'll see what happens. But yeah, very interesting. Very surprised that happened. But yeah, that's all I got. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.